Greetings. Hey, it's Susie Q. Greetings from the RV. Oh my goodness, in the RV. All right, let's get started with the work. Today we begin to break down attraction 41 questions. Today is question number 28. These can be found via podcast and video at YouTube channel Holistic Healing Community by Susie Q. Jurevich. Do subscribe to follow this complimentary offering of how to tune in to attracting your desired goal intent, our juicy, groovy new vibe. Today's question number 28 is: what brings you, yes, you, happiness right now? I'm going to say it again. What brings you happiness right now? Okay, now we're going to do another now. What brings you happiness right now in this present moment of now? I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey, I love this question. What brings you happiness right now? This morning I did a podcast and it was really fun. The podcast happened real early in the morning. I'm still in bed and just, well, I'm awake. Obviously I'm not like sleep talking. But as I'm out here, when I come out to the RV, it's like, okay, we're going to just do a whole new, fresh kind of way of looking at, what brings me happiness right now. And every now is just this present moment aliveness. And anyway, so I get tickled coming out here and doing my work. I'm out here for a couple hours every day, and it's really kind of fun and cool. Anywho, how? So what brings me happiness is, just this idea of exploring how do we feel when we are in that place of happiness. So I'm just going to ask you. I love asking questions. Sometimes people come to me and like, can you just answer my question? I'm like, well, let's just look at that question and see, what is it really, what are you looking for there? So with that being said, when you're in a state of happiness, where do you feel it in your body? Do you notice any sensations that arise in your body when you're at that beautiful space of happiness? Now, the other day I noticed on Facebook, a friend of mine had a surprise party, and is my friend Sandra back in Houston. And so she was, they had them all like grouped together and they were waiting, to surprise her. So we saw the angle from the camera. They were like looking at her, then also the other people. And that moment that those people went out, surprise, that was cute. And that really is what resonated for me earlier today, was thinking about her surprise party that her husband did for her. That felt good. So I would have to, just, maybe feel into what she was feeling at that moment. She knew she was going someplace. She was dressed up fabulous too, by the way. And she must have been just completely like, what? Just completely surprised, and almost like a complete reset of her central nervous system. Okay. So, when we go into that real high state or high vibe and frequency or energy of being in that state of happiness, it's almost as if the body completely responds. In the podcast this morning, I talked about how the cells celebrate happiness. The cells in your body celebrate that moment when you're in elation and you're in sheer pleasure and joy, in that state of happiness. It's almost as if the cells inside of your body, now everybody knows I love to talk about the body, but the cells in your body are waiting. They're just like dee 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 dee. Like, what is she gonna do now? What's Susie gonna do now? Oh, she wants to be happy. Oh, she's happy now. Yay! It's like all the cells come together, and they're all. Some of them are like over there doing this stuff. Some are over here being naughty, and maybe some of these are just kind of like idle cells. Some are naughty ones. Shame, shame. Anyway, but when you have that moment of almost like that central nervous system reset, where you go from one feeling tone to an extremely high vibing one in just a quick second, like my friend Sandra, when she understood it was a surprise party, was like, whoa, In her body, I can only imagine that there was an instant reset on a central nervous system level, that all her body had an instantaneous boom, boom, boom activation of a reset. And all the cells were excited and they were unified and they were harmonious in this feeling and tone of being in this space of happiness. People think you need to do all this stuff to work with the body and to get more in tune with the cellular way that we are. All of us we're just all these different molecules. And a lot of times, I go by the name of Susie Stardust, but all of the stuff inside of us is all of this very energetic, very enlivened. Each cell, each particle in the body, from the smallest to the largest, has consciousness, just like we do in our personality. So, as that consciousness is informed by the body or by the personality that's animating or is running the system of the body, all of the consciousness within is activated and excited, just like the personality is the Susie Q. When something wonderful comes in, the cells respond to your feeling. It's one thing to think about happiness and, like, well, let me go back and think about a time when I was happy, and that feels good too. But when you're in the instantaneous big hit of bam, it's in your field, whoosh, the cells, or even that parts of our mind or parts of our brain activity don't have time to even think about it. It's just like bam, here we are. The cells go whoosh, and it's almost as if, I talk about the cells with one of my meditation concentric spheres. And so sometimes with the cells, you've got some, especially if the person or the vehicle is in a place of just kind of monotone or idle position in life, that you may have some cells that are responding to what your desires are, but you may find that you have some isolated cells. Isolated over here, over here, over here. And I don't give a name to that. However, but there's some that are not really running with the rest of the cells. There's not harmony there. So when we have that instantaneous hit of happiness, yay! Oh God, imagine what your cells are doing. They're probably like, go, go girl, go girl, go girl, go girl. All right. Woo. Now, I didn't know this was all going to show up on this video, but here we are. So that happiness, it extends not only from this personality or this bodysuit that we got. And boy, we got great bodysuits, right? Raise your hand. Everybody in the RV is raising their hand. I love the bodysuit that I picked. I love the bodysuit that you're wearing too, by the way. It's smoking hot. But when we really come into that state of happiness and then noticing it in the body, just checking in, like, what am I feeling when I'm super happy? What is it? Where is it? Where are sensations rising? And what's going on with my body when I'm in this state of happiness? So, this is the internal messaging system. But when you take that happiness out and it expands, and I talk about those frequencies, those radio bands, it's extending out, expanding out, expanding out, expanding out. Wow. Wow, think of all of the energy of happiness that once it's internalized coming in through the crown. So the energy comes in through the crown and goes all the way through the body system. Like it's like a beautiful wash, boom, all the way out to the bottom of your feet. And for me, I must anchor in at the bottom of my feet to the center of our planet, beautiful Gaia. So any good juice I'm getting in the body or anything in the body, I anchor in at the center of this planet. That just works for me. And it's a really great grounder too, if you're kind of feeling a little bit off, to really ground down. Okay. People who know me personally, they know that my crown is completely open. And so I always am grounding down, coming down into this planet, going into the high heart of her, our beautiful mother of this planet Earth, just really grounding in her high heart. All right. So this idea of happiness. So then when we're feeling it on the inside and we're just like, doing all of these beautiful, it's kind of like a happiness medicine trick that we're doing or something, or medicine wheel that we're playing with. Happiness medicine wheel. That sounds kind of groovy. Anyway, I'm going to go with that. when we're in that space of happiness, and then we really acknowledge the messaging system. So just like you have like these antennas here, or these radio stations, or these different, I don't know what they're called, the antennas. The antennas like on a T. I don't people don't do that anymore, I don't think. These antennas, but you're using your system as an antenna and noticing the messages that come in when you're in your state of happiness. Feel into that and acknowledge that. So, as you're feeling these different sensations, or maybe your sensations of happiness means that the body is basically fairly neutral. It's in a neutral place. And what I'm going to say about that neutrality is that's pretty awesome. And I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it right now, juicy, because if you're in a bodysuit and you're in a neutral stance, like you're not noticing anything that's kind of, problematic. Sometimes people have like a little ache here, a little pain here, or a little bit of something here, or something over there. When you're in a place where you're in the body, but not necessarily pulling out any kind of messages from your body system from head to toe, then that's a really great place to be. And that's what happiness can do. So when we're in that place, it's always a good time. And it's always a good time. Every inhale and every exhale should be thank you. Breathing in, thank you for this life. Breathing out, thank you for this life. Breathing in, thank you for this life. Breathing out, thank you for this life. Oh my goodness. Anyway, and happiness has so many different ways when we look at it. And people will sometimes really focus on some real big deal, or some really big goal that they were achieving. Of course, this is 41 questions about attraction. So I'd like to encourage you, or we would like to encourage you, to look at the smallest and the most simple ways of finding happiness. And this morning's podcast was all about the smile. Of course, this one, the video is gone wackadoodle, because I'm seeing myself and I go into personality. How usual. But the smile is such a beautiful gift that we have, and it does reorganize the central nervous system, and it ignites and it informs cells to be in harmony because we're in a happy space. This morning on the podcast, I encourage you to listen to that because it was kind of interesting. And I was kind of surprised what came out. I always say I'm just the messenger or the typist. But a smile is a beautiful thing. To be in a state of happiness is to go into a feeling tone. Let's just say like just it's a regular day, kind of mundane or whatever. And you're like, God, I don't know what's going on, and I don't know what I should be doing. If you just go into the simple act of smiling, and for us that are salespeople, I've been in sales for years, years and years and years. And I know right before I had a client come in, I had a mirror there at my desk. And then I would look in the mirror and smile. And I would close all my file folders of all the other things I was working on. And I would move into that feeling tone of a smile. Okay. And I know that even if it was kind of a fake smile, like I just got to pretend I'm happy. There is something that happens when you begin to smile because the brain and the mind and this physical body we're in, this 3D reality, it will look at that smile as truth. That there's, oh my God, she's happy. We're gonna all dance and we're all gonna swing and play just like the avatar informs us to do. So there's a beautiful feeling tone that comes from just the act of smiling, even if it's kind of like pretend, just like attempting to be happy. It works. Do that. Smiling is a great thing. So if you're going around in your day and you're just noticing, I need to bring my vibe up, I need to go to more high vibe and stuff, move into a smile. Extend that smile to others. That's powerful. And it could be to people, but it could also be to plant life. It could be to our animal friends, our fur friends, our winged friends. Extending that smile out into the world from your heart space, extending it out. Wow, what a beautiful expression that is. Happiness. What does happiness mean to you in this moment right now? Right now, for me, it means that I am loving this life that I have. I'm loving my body completely. I'm loving you. Yes, you and you and you and you that are listening to this and watching this, and knowing that it is so, that you're always in your present moment of happiness. And sometimes when you forget, you come back to it. And it's just as simple as showing your beautiful smile. Have a beautiful and blessed day.